last year sometime I realized that all of the Monty Python episodes were on Hulu. And so I went through and rewatched them all.
Yeah?
And I figured out the funniest Monty Python sketch.
Oh, really?
The upper class twit of the year. It's got verbal comedy, it's got physical comedy, it's got social satire, characters. All of the 5 twits are different types of twits. Like, none of them are similar at all.
And it's also one that incorporates all 5 of the actors on the show.
It's funny. Every time you see it, it's funny.
Just the climax of it. Just, like, shows such a base resentment of the upper class. The finale of it is that they all have to shoot themselves in the head. And some of them are just too stupid to even do that.
So that's the funniest sketch. My personal favorite sketch is the customs officer, where Michael Palin is smuggling clocks. Cleese just doesn't believe it.
My favorite is probably, I don't know what it's called, but good night, little-ling.
That's like in the top 5.
Yes.
Okay. We're doing it.
Weird science.
Weird science.
Woo-hoo! From my heart and from my hand.
Why don't people understand my intentions?
Doo-doo.
I'm happy to see that you've joined us for unboxing. We have a great show for you today. We are going to open up our mail, and we're going to thank our donors, people who go to welcometothebasementshow.com and contribute.
People like
Armando, who says, love you guys. Please have a Texas-themed episode or month. That's an interesting idea. I might consider that.
It's a big state.
Alfred, Bernard, Brian Kelly Illustrations, Patrick, Joseph, Adam, William, Jeff, Andrea, Luke, Brian, David, Carelock Services, Eric, Thomas, Robert, Kiernan, Grant, Catherine, Stephanie, Nathan, Stephen, Thomas, B.A., Mikey D., Chris, Michael, Laura, and Kai. The rest of our donors later in the show. Sean Henry writes, Sarah and I visited this Raptor Center in Duncan, BC. Amazing to get so close to such birds. What are your favorite nature movies? I really like that movie about the bear. I think it's called The Bear? No, it's called The Edge.
The Edge?
The Mammoth film, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins and Alan Baldwin?
We've talked about it on this show before.
Which I've never seen.
Winged Migration. Amazing.
Tona likes Winged Migration. Tim and Lori from Providence, Rhode Island, The Hotel Wolcott.
Oh, that's fancy.
If you could shoot a movie in your home of Madison, Wisconsin, what movie genre would be most appropriate for the city?
College sex comedy.
There you go.
Right there. And it was kind of done because this is where Back to School was filmed. Also, some movie where a lawyer would say, you knew, and you did nothing!
This Warhammer 40,000 postcard comes from Jason Tucker Esquire, attorney at law, who says, Happy New Year. Clue and Battleship are the only board games I know of that have been turned into movies. Are there any games you guys think would be successful or you would otherwise want to see on the silver screen? And then it says, Daka Daka Daka. Wah! Monopoly as an avant-garde art film.
How I would make Monopoly as an avant-garde art film is that I'd make 2 movies out of it from 2 points of view.
Oh, yeah.
One where it is a movie about a guy who makes all the money, who just like is like winning, and they're like, yes, yes, yes. And then I'd make another movie about 3 people who have been destroyed by this man's rise up.
Frank from Slinger, home of the Slinger Speedway. The Fireside.
Is that the Fireside Theater in Fort Atkinson?
The Fireside in Fort Atkinson. I just saw Saturday Night Fever, the musical. Very well done, and the food was great, too. Any favorite movie-related musicals, or any musicals you want to see it made into a musical?
Well, we're not talking about cats yet on the show, but keep tuning in.
Questions. Joyce Padua. I just rewatched your Cube episode because I'm currently working on a show with Maurice Dean Witt, who plays cop not on the edge with everything to lose, Quentin. He's one of the most kind, well-spoken, and thoughtful men I've ever worked with. Have you folks ever met or worked with an actor you'd seen on film and been pleasantly surprised at the interaction? I met Kevin Pollak many years ago. He now plays the elder Mr. Maisel on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. This was right when he had just started doing his Kevin Pollak chat show. And we met at a convention. We did a little Chad Vader video together. We sat on this weird talk show together. Kevin Pollak is one of those guys where you meet him and 5 minutes later you feel like you're old friends.
Yeah.
You're laughing, you're joking around. He's a real mensch.
I almost walked right into Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Keanu hater until the early 2000s. because I thought, it's like, well, I'm an actor. Keanu's just very pretty. And then as soon as I saw him as a real human being. And then I started thinking about each one of his roles. And yes, he's not great in everything.
Why did you walk into him?
We were both at a play in New York together.
Oh, okay.
I saw him in the lobby. He was picking up his tickets, and I went up to my seat, and there was an empty seat next to me, and I thought, what if Keanu Reeves sat down next to me?
If he came and sat down next to you, you would not watch 1 second of that play.
Yeah.
You would just be thinking, I don't want to bump into him.
My elbow.
What did he just laugh? Did he laugh? Did he think he thought that part was funny?
And he's not one of those actors who turn out to be short. Quite tall.
Kevin Pollak, quite short.
Andrew Herzog writes, what is your favorite household appliance? The oven hood fan is my favorite household appliance. I know this because I do not have one. I hate the smell of cooked meat in the house.
It's a tough question. I do love my rice cooker, but I would have to say toaster oven. Because it's a toaster, and it's also an oven. And it's very convenient in the summer months when you don't want to fire up the big oven. You just need to cook something small.
Refrigerator. It's life-changing.
Refrigerator, and it's life-saving.
Harold Lloyd, get down from there.
I'll call up our lawyer right now.
Don't call Laura Dern. It'll destroy him.
Look at that rain.
I can't. There's curtains.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes. Hello, Twinkle Toes.
I've gone back to my maiden nickname, which is Motionless Toes.
There, now go on, Dan. I'll see you later. Go on, Dan. Now.
I'm spinning your knobs.
It's funny seeing you.
It is?
You're Cary Grant.
Well, she was talking about your divorcing Mr. Warrener.
Now that I've seen Mona Lisa, I realize where Eleanor Roosevelt got her look.
I said, where did you go to school?
In Switzerland.
Which canton?
Sadie. I'm going to open a package here from Stella in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We got some stuff in
Oh,
here.
jeez. Much more exciting than just a record, which I thought it was.
Oh, these are cool postcards of old movie posters. Like Dracula, Tarzan, the Ape Man. I'm not going to throw all these, but we got
I'm doing great.
Charlie Chaplin and the Kid, Funny Face, Wizard of Oz, Japanese Marilyn Monroe, President Kennedy with some sort of friend, and an old fancy building. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and Happy New Year. I love the show and I've seen every episode. And we inspire her to look into movies, albums, and books that otherwise she would have never heard about. I even took a couple film history classes and signed up for a history of Western music for the spring. She's graduating from the University of New Mexico in May, and do we have any advice for the beginning transition into actual adulthood?
Never use the word adulting. Never. You won't be taken seriously.
I would say don't use the term real life. In terms of dividing between college and after college, it's all real.
It might be hard at times. Don't cry at work.
If you lose touch with your college friends, don't fret about it. It happens.
Start just putting a little bit into retirement early on.
Ooh, from 1978, we have Cineast magazine.
Oh.
Look at that. Sly Stallone on the cover. He means business. Oh, this is Premiere magazine.
What? Oh, it just doesn't have a cover to it.
Okay, yeah, the cover's
Oh my
missing.
god, then I might have once had this very magazine. Let me see what the topic is. Shot by Shot, Miller's Crossing. I had
Cool.
this issue.
And we have 2 LPs here. We have Richard Pryor, Is It Something I Said?
Oh, he's about to be burned as a witch.
I have a copy of this, but I think mine is pretty beat up, so I'm going to compare the two.
And then I will get the worst one.
And then this is very interesting. Mr. Gone by the Weather Report. I believe this is Jaco Pastorius, a band that he was involved with. Maybe he's on this one. I don't know, but it's the Weather Report. And that means it's complicated jazz.
Get the news I need from the Weather Report.
Jaco Pastorius was famous for playing the fretless bass. He played on the Joni Mitchell album Hejira.
Which I just found out that the cover of Hejira shot in Madison.
Oh.
She was ice skating on Lake Mendota while passing through. I guess the river that she can skate away on is the river right down the street from my house. Speaking of records, Matt wants to talk to you about some records that he already listened to.
That's right. The theme for today is yellow. First off, we have Beat Happening. This is a group that plays very primitive pop music.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you describe it? And you know one of the guys in this band.
I met one of the guys in this band.
Calvin Johnson?
I met Calvin Johnson once for 30 seconds. It's like me saying you know Sarah Silverman. You know Sarah Silverman far more than I know Calvin Johnson.
Hey, I hung out with Sarah Silverman for at least 3 minutes. Well, is there anything notable about when you met Calvin?
He was the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's on the back of this album, and he's a handsome fella. He's got the flattest, deepest baritone voice you'll ever hear. It's odd music. There is a British group called the Young Marble Giants who does kind of similar music to this. It's very stripped down, rhythm-driven. One of the misconceptions about punk rock music is that they can't really play their instruments. But if you listen to The Clash's first album, they could play them just fine. But these guys, it seems like they really have a tentative grasp on how to play the instruments that they're playing.
If you listen to the Beat Happening albums in order, you can hear the sound of people learning how to play their instruments.
Yes, and I think this is probably music from the very beginning of that timeline.
This does not have the song Indian Summer, which is a beautiful, beautiful song.
Indian Summer is on their album Jamboree, which I have on CD.
Yeah.
All right, our next Yellow-themed album is this Yellow album, The Life Aquatic Studio Sessions featuring Seu Jorge. Tone and I just listened to this last night. It was late at night, the lights were low, and it was very lovely music. Another baritone singer, but his voice is so expressive and so versatile. I mean, he can really get up into falsetto territory, and his guitar playing is great. These are all David Bowie covers in Portuguese on an acoustic guitar.
More donors are as follows: JP, Sean, Maurizio, Graham, Kendall, Mark, Jenny, Robert, John, Tabitha, Christopher, Jonathan, Andrew, Corey, Danielle, Paul, Jorge, Stephen, Parissa, Sarah, Vincent, Bridget, Eden, Jared, Austin, Reiner, Luke, Neil, and Grace.
All right, let's open that last package.
This is from Alex in Coquitlam, BC. That's up in Canada. Hi, everybody. My name is...
Hi, Dr. Nick.
My name is Alex De Silva, or Chef Spiral. I've been a fan since season 2. Hey, the way you two talk about movies is invigorating to me, so I finally found time to send you some stuff. Plus, a question. Are there movies that made you feel like you were in another country or location?
The Motorcycle Diaries.
Enchanted April. A unique comic you can only get at Alcatraz.
Ooh, Escape from Alcatraz.
The Dummy Head Breakout as a subtitle.
4 desperate men plot the ultimate escape.
For Craig, this postcard of an anime called Violet Evergarden, which is on Netflix. Right there. A Foreign Leatherheads. John Cena, 12 rounds. The extreme cut of 12 rounds. Originally was 10. Lily Sobieski also ran of fame doing Joan of Arc. I hope she cuts her hair at some point in the movie, because not historically accurate, Lily. And Face the Music. One band, one dream, one outrageous plan. I hope it's to rob a racetrack.
And then that's a game?
Fairy Tale, a new story. It is a card game. It's brand new, unopened.
I might take it over Beer and Board Games way. We just presented our 190th episode last week, and that's a lot of stuff. It's possible that there are episodes that you may have missed along the way, or episodes that you would like to rewatch. This is where we recommend an episode from our back catalog. That is episode 125, Zabriskie Point. This is an art film from the early 70s by Michelangelo Antonioni. I think it's one that people rarely sit through these days.
Our episode really gives you the point of this movie that's trying to make a point and probably not working. Watching our episode and listening to the soundtrack to the movie gives you everything you really need.
There is a button you can click on at the end of this video where you can watch that episode, and there are other buttons you can click on, and now you can watch this. I have attempted to watch this movie before. It was many, many years ago, and I made the mistake of bringing it home for the holidays. With all the kids and the yelling and the running around, I just couldn't focus on the movie. So I bailed out. I will watch this again when I can give it my full attention. And that day has finally come.
And we're just going to be talking over the whole thing.
Yeah, damn it.